Hello everybody, this is Racquel Palmese. I'd like to welcome you to Wisdom Wednesday. It's really good to be here with you, feeling the power of this time and of our joining together as a very palpable moment in time. Something is coming together, things are moving quickly. We are being carried along on a tide of change and evolvement that I hope we all get to do consciously and not just be dragged along with it. So here we are, we find ourselves together. Let's take a few breaths together. If you're driving, it would be wonderful to pull over if you can. If not, try not to close your eyes with me. But the rest of us, let's close our eyes. Let's take some deep breaths. Let's feel each other out there in the ethers, joining forces, joining energy, joining hands. Let's amp up the energy field by leaning in, by leaning into it, by leaning into each other. So breathing deeply and feeling release on the out breath. Feeling some good release, maybe moving the shoulders around, moving some energy. Such a beautiful thing, feeling that energy moving inside you, around you. Feeling the power of the breath to transform the moment. And indeed, the power of the breath to transform thinking, being, feeling. The power of the breath to help us release blocked up, old, stodgy feelings, emotions, stories. Those old ghosts that lurk around, trying to take over, make our decisions for us. You know those things. A breath can release it. A breath can let it go. It's so simple and yet so profound that we were given this breath to use it. So hello everybody, feel us connected together, and all those that we are connected to in the world also being touched by the energetics of this moment. I always say that when you do the deep work of spiritual engagement and consciousness and healing, that everyone in your orbit is touched by it. Everyone starts feeling change or feeling desire for change or for connection. And sometimes it's not so pleasant. Sometimes a lot of stuff starts moving. That's okay too. But just know that everyone in your orbit feels it when you open your heart, when you reach out for spiritual connection, when you show up for a moment like this with me or with another guide that asks you to be in your heart, that asks you to just take a pause, to come down from the temple of your mind and come into the much bigger, beautiful cathedral of your body, your being, your belly, your love, your heart. Nothing much to think about here. Let's not think together, shall we? And for all you who are not here in this moment and come on later, I thank you for participating with me in these very precious moments. What is coming in for us to look at today is the idea of love. And I'm certainly not the first person that's ever spoken about love. But I think in light of all that is going on today, we need to look at our capacity for love, at the way we love. We need to look at something historically also, that in the decades I have been alive, and I've been around since the beginning of the human development movement. And as I've probably said before, that was a time of turning inward, turning towards ourselves, seeking to improve ourselves in many ways, on many levels. Human development began this seeking and searching to find better versions of ourselves, more expanded versions for healing of the emotional body, physical body, and all the different aspects of us, human development. It also created a new way of looking at life, and that is through the eyes, looking at ourselves, watching ourselves live. We have become very self-absorbed and self-oriented. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, except one of the victims of that self-orientation, like the giant Klieg lights turned back on us. The victim of that has been the generosity of our hearts. If you look at yourself, look at your life right now, how generous of heart do you think you actually are? How much time do you spend sharing open-hearted love with others, with your partners, your children, your family? And as this holiday of Thanksgiving approaches, it's a really good time to look at this. That as we have been conditioned to watch ourselves living life, we have forgotten how to remove that camera from before us and just look out through the eyes of our heart, without looking at how am I being right now. Without the self-orientation, we become open to what another being is expressing or feeling. We become able to listen deeper and not automatically go into how they're making us feel, and then wanting to either back away or wanting more. It's not really about us. And I believe we need to reorient ourselves, reimagine ourselves, and open that chamber of the heart that is about generosity, that is about truly listening, appreciating, even and maybe especially those that don't agree with us, or those that we feel contracted around, those that we feel might want too much of us. Can we all feel ourselves holding hands with each other as part of a very great collective, rather than an individual trying to fit in or find our place? So can we go from this to this? Will you open your heart? Because it is in this chamber, the generosity of heart, that we find our ability to truly love another being, to truly have a partnership that that we give into as much as we give out of. In that chamber of the heart is kindness, is letting go of our own needs or perceived needs. I work with a lot of people that are in partnerships of all kinds, business partnerships, marriages, love partnerships, parent-child partnerships, families. And the one thing that a dysfunctional partnership always has in common is that one or both people are filled with bottomless pits of need, expecting the other person, the boss, even the child, to fill that need. So we'll ask constantly, do I look okay? Am I okay? And feel terrible when we don't get the feedback for it. Become angry and feel like we're not seen or appreciated. Look at, for a minute, the quality of your own relationships. See how that plays out. See what you actually feel like you need and are not getting from the other person. Sorry about that. Feel into your own heart when you think of that other person. Look at codependencies that exist in your relationships, and you will immediately see that the generosity of your heart has shrunk or closed. And what does it take to reopen that? It takes a willingness for us to let go of the expectations that another person should be what we think they should be to us. Thank you for the hearts. It takes letting go of needing that other person to fill us. And in order to do that, we have to do the work and be willing to do the spiritual and life work that it takes to be able to fill our own cup. This is a beautiful way to live. It is a beautiful thing to teach our children, to be able to resource in ourselves that which we would like to receive from others. And then when we are shining out like that, we are so easy to love because we're not needy, we're not expecting it, we don't get angry, passive aggressive. The other person might have not got a clue what we need or think we need. And we're there, well, if they really love me, they would know. And that is all our own stuff. In this build up to Thanksgiving, at least here in the States, all you people overseas, you have other holidays. But in the build up to Thanksgiving here, it is more important than ever, 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 ever in this country and maybe the whole world to actually find that chamber in our hearts that holds genuine gratitude. Gratitude for the other person, for our world, for this experience of being alive in the first place. Thank you, creation, for giving me this life. Thank you for giving me this precious relationship, this opportunity to express my love and gratitude to find the generosity of heart that I can also point to myself. That I can feel generous towards myself and grateful towards me for my gratitude towards others. That's just the way it works. We need this now more than we ever have, at least in the history of my lifetime. We need to be able to look at each other straight across without expectations of what we think we need from the other, but rather with deep curiosity and understanding, so that when we ask for something, we're asking for it with an open heart. Honey, would you just put your hands on my heart for a minute? I could really use it. It's a beautiful thing. But when it comes out with resentment and neediness and a constant need for it, the other person doesn't know how to deal with it. It's not up to them to make us okay. It's up to us to make ourselves okay. And in order to do that, we have to do the sweaty spiritual work and life work of letting go of all those gremlins inside us that are telling us we're not okay. That is the work, and the most important work that any of us do ever, is coming out of those silos of emotional damage, of pain, and the then expectation of others, and which leads to judgment of others, and all the kinds of stuff that ruin a relationship. So how about, as the year is drawing to a close, as we enter this period of Thanksgiving, that we truly give thanks, that we let it flow through our energy and our eyes as we walk down the street, or on a Zoom session as it is right now. How about if we let that flow through us in all of our relationships and experience the amazing feeling of just letting it open, letting the other person be okay. And sometimes that is the scariest thing that we can do. It's easier to be shut down. It's easier to be distant or aloof or feel like it's never enough. What if it is just perfectly enough in this moment? What if we give ourselves over to the goodness that it is? And if it truly isn't, what if we give ourselves over to the goodness of ourselves and decide if we need to move on in another direction? But 99% of the time, in my experience, it is about owning our own stuff, finding a way to heal it and let it go, and releasing the other person or people or boss or child or parent, friend, from the prison of our own distress, releasing them to just enjoy them for exactly who they are and not to need them for something they can't give us or have no idea how to, because we need to do that for ourselves. My deepest hope and prayer right now is that I am explaining this in such a way that resonates with you, because we need to change. We need to come away from that camera always looking at us, us watching ourselves. Turn it outward so that we look straight out of our hearts at our world, at our loves, and at everybody. All of it, all the whole human experience. It will empower your heart in a way that you can't imagine unless you've experienced it. Thank you. All my love to you. Have a beautiful rest of your day, or night, or morning, wherever you're tuning in from. Mahalo, Carol. Bye.